I'm here in the hills of Hollywood, California, standing in front of this beautiful, endless swimming pool here. And for the last 2 years, this pool has been chemical free. Just yesterday, they upgraded this system to a complete nano oxygen swimming pool, and they couldn't be more pleased. They've been running the new commercial ozone generator with the oxygen feed for a week. The water is crystal clear, clearer than it's ever been, according to the owner. And if you have a swimming pool, you can get rid of those red eyes, that dry skin, and the awful chlorine smell. No more showers when you come out of the pool, and you and your family can live like the stars in the Hollywood Hills, right in your own backyard. Hey guys, it's Charles, the product developer at the home of the BioBlaster. I'm here in the mountains of California, just outside of Hollywood in the hills, and we're sitting poolside at a oxygen concentrator fed, the new BioBlaster Bionic oxygenated chemical-free swimming pool system. And I'm here with my friend Jim. Jim is someone I met 2 years ago when I did my original beta test of the chemical-free Bionic swimming pool system. And he has been swimming in chemical-free water for the last 2 years. And Jim has some children just like I do. And when I bought my first home with a pool, and my two daughters that started old enough to swim started swimming, within a week I noticed that their hair turned brittle like straw, and their skin got really dried out. And Jim had a similar experience. What was that like?
Exact same experience. When we first came into our house, the kids were swimming in the pool every day, and within a week their hair started fraying out, like drying out. Their skin started getting, like, you could touch their skin and you could see lines, and now, like, their skin is soft, their hair is soft, their eyes are white, no more bloodshot eyes after the pool. I will do it again.
And one of the great things that I noticed when I started swimming in the chemical-free swimming pool, not only can you open your eyes under the water, and when you come out they're not bloodshot, but your hair gets softer, like you've had an expensive conditioning treatment, and the skin as well. And it has to do with the way that ozone can soften the water, and then that oxygen is available to get into your body. Now that we've created the new nanotizing system, in the old system, we were feeding ambient fed air, which is, a bunch of different gases. It's nitrogen, and mostly 72% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, plus all the other gases. And the bubbles are still relatively large. So even though we're using a static mixture to help get contact of the surface area with the water, you still see a lot of that gas just escapes off the top in large bubbles. But with the new nanotizing mixer, we're not only creating ozone with the generator, we're using a special technology inside the nanotizer to create hydroxyl radicals. And we're macerating those bubbles, so they just get churned and churned, smaller and smaller and smaller. And when they get down to the nanoscale, once they get under 100 nanometers, everything changes. There's a zeta potential shift that occurs, and with that, the charge on the bubble goes negative. And a true nanobubble will never break the surface. Anything over 100 nanometers will rise to the surface and break and be exposed to the ambient air. But with the nanobubbles, they will stay in the water. The ozone will revert eventually to pure oxygen. And so you're literally swimming in this healthy, oxygenated, crystal clear water. And the effects are just something you have to experience to quite understand. But, one of the things that Jim mentioned is every time he looks at the pool, he just can't believe how clear it is. And over the years, anyone that's worked with chemicals in pools knows that it's a battle like in a Christmas story, fighting the furnace downstairs. You're constantly adjusting your pH. You're constantly adjusting your chlorine levels to get everything in homeostasis so it's just right. And it's a very delicate balancing act. But with the Bionic system, you mentioned that you noticed something with the pH. What was that?
the pH stays stable without me adding any kind of acid ever. It just stays neutral at about 7, little over 7. Maybe it goes to about from 7 to about 7.5, and it fluctuates right there. Yeah, perfect. I don't never need to add any acid.
And that is one of the most amazing things is getting the pH. Oh, it can be a nightmare,
Yeah.
especially as a new pool owner. If you don't have a chemical service, and even if you do, that's one of the things that they're fighting all the time is keeping that pH at that 7 to 7.5, adding all these oxidizers every single week when they come out to do your pool service.
There was another thing I noticed too after I put in the first one, is that with the chlorine and the acid, my tiles would erupt these like white speckle things that was having a chemical reaction with, I don't know what, the chemicals in the pool or the pH, but it would erupt like these white, I don't know.
It's like mineral balls.
Yeah, like mineral balls. But with the ozone, now that the pH is always consistently at neutral, all of those little lava looking things are just disappeared. They just disappeared.
Any of the minerals that are capable of being oxidized will be oxidized by the ozone.
Yeah.
And people don't realize, ozone is far more powerful oxidizer than chlorine. Ozone kills germs at 3,125 times faster than chlorine ever can. And so the efficacy of ozone compared to chlorine, it's not even a competition. And we're stuck in this 150-year-old mindset of adding chlorine to swimming pools when ozone has been around almost nearly as long, at least 100 years. And in Europe they use ozone preferentially to treat water in the water treatment plants. Yet here in America, we're still stuck in the past using chlorine and toxic chemicals to treat our water. And it isn't just the chlorine, it's the byproducts. So if there's any organic matter in the pool, and every pool is subject to organic matter. There's pollen floating around. There's skin cells that fall off of people. And if you have a kid that urinates in the pool, all of these things, when they encounter chlorine, immediately get oxidized, and the byproduct is something called a chloramine. There's an even more toxic set of byproducts called trihalomethanes. And these things are so toxic, you would never, ever, ever want to put your body in it, let alone the far more precious bodies of your loved ones. And, our children are the greatest gifts that God's given us, and to see them swim in that chemical soup defeats the entire purpose of having this amazing backyard, in this case front yard recreational space. And it just changes. Everything changes with an oxygen swimming pool.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if you want to be the life of the party with a pool party, people will actually get in the pool. Normally people have a pool party, no one goes swimming because no one wants to get that stinky chlorine smell on them for the rest of the night. But with an oxygen swimming pool, you're going to have to be beating your neighbors away when you have a pool party. They're going to be, all of the friends that you thought you didn't have are going to be showing up wanting to get in your pool and go for a swim.
It's cleaner than the water coming out of my tap.
It's definitely cleaner than the water coming out of the tap.
For sure.
Municipal water supplies, they get it within a range, but that range still is loaded with particulate. It still has, one of the things that blew me away when I was 18 years old, some salesman came to my dad's house. And we were just in northeastern Ohio. We had municipal water supply from Lake Erie. And Lake Erie water is fairly good compared to other parts of the country where they're getting it from, dirty wells or continuously reusing the same water over and over. And so he took out a little orthotolidine pool test kit, which is the chemical you use to test the chlorine levels in swimming pools. Shockingly, tap water around the country, you can do this test at home if you're on municipal water, you have usually 3 to 4 times the chlorine levels that are safe to swim in coming right out of your tap. And they use another chemical to mask the smell of the chlorine so that you don't know that it's in every glass that you're drinking. So Bottled water is dangerous from the plastic and all of the things that leach out of the plastic, and tap water is routinely has 4 times the level of chlorine that's safe to swim. Yet, in this beautiful swimming pool right here, it's crystal clear. You can open your eyes under the water. You can go swimming. Your hair stays soft. Your skin stays soft. You get oxygen in your body. There are some really amazing studies showing that nanobubble oxygen can kickstart your mitochondria. And we're not making any claims about your swimming pool, but when you buy one for your family, you go swimming in this amazing oxygen pool, you will never regret the choice. You become the life of the neighborhood and the life of the party.
For sure. I'm just grateful that I found you. Like I didn't know what to do.
There are so many different companies out there that have an ozone swimming pool. Well, it's not really an ozone swimming pool. They make such a tiny amount of ozone. You're still using a massive amount of chlorine and other chemicals.
Yeah.
There are ionizing systems that, say, we just use the copper or the silver and you won't have to use any chemicals. That's garbage too. Copper and silver isn't enough to do it. And even when you use them together, if you're not using an industrial oxygen concentrator fed unit, you're really going to have a hard time making the levels of ozone that you need. And when you filter out that nitrogen, the same ozone generating cell will now produce 5 times more ozone, because it's now 100% or 94% oxygen is what comes out of the concentrator. So you're getting much, much higher ozone concentration. And when you take it and run it through our nanotizing mixer, you're creating hydroxyl radicals, which is OH, and you're creating this amazing nanoscopic oxygen that will stay in the water and make that pool crystal clear and kickstart your body, rejuvenate your skin and your hair, and you'll have a swimming experience that's unlike anything you've ever had before. It's not like swimming in a lake. It's completely different.
Yeah. Like my kids jump in here any time of the day. Before, it was like once a week. I limit them once a week. You can only go in there once a week. Now they jump in there any time of the day, put back on their clothes, and they're clean. They're clean, they smell clean, they look clean, they don't look like they just jumped out of a pool.
Yeah, no having to go take a shower
None
to
of
rinse that chlorine off of your body.
Yeah, they don't smell like they're burning in chlorine. They smell sweet.
Yeah. It's a radically new experience if you've never tried it yourself. So if you have a pool and you've always wondered, is there a way I can go truly chemical free? Not the complicated hydrogen peroxide system where you have to buy a barrel of hydrogen peroxide every couple of months and you have to have that complicated mechanism to adjust the pH. This is stable, steady, automatic. The reason I called it the Bionic swimming pool system is because it's hands off.
Yeah.
Once it's installed and you have your timer set correctly to come on 15 minutes after the pool system starts and to turn off 15 minutes before, there's literally nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple.
Yeah. Because I remember taking care of the pool in the summertime. I mean, in the summertime, I had a gallon, and by 3 o'clock, I checked to see how much chlorine's in there. There's barely anything in there anymore. So I just leave it and I wait. Within 3 days, I got algae growing in my pool.
It's the same if you're in southern Florida, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, the southern parts. You get these 100-degree days, and the chlorine gets neutralized almost
just
immediately.
Like that. Just like that. Like you can see it on your tester.
Yeah.
It's gone.
But with an automatic system, all you need is a little bit of electricity, and the system does the rest. There's no moving parts in the nanotizer. There's just a compressor is the only moving part in the ozone generator. And the Venturi and everything, once it's installed, you never have to adjust it, never need to do anything with it. It is a bulletproof, industrial-grade, chemical-free swimming pool system that turns your pool into an oxygen pool. And when you have an oxygen swimming pool, your pool experience will change forever.
Yeah. And I've never seen my water this color. It's like it's not chlorine gets it clean, but this is like unbelievable clean. It's almost silverish, bluish.
It's crystal clear.
Yes, it's like a magnifying glass almost.
Yeah. So, if you've been thinking long and hard, I want to do away with the chlorine. Is there any system out there that really works? We can really install this and go swimming and never have to worry about it again. You found it, folks. Invest in one for your family. You'll never regret it.
Yeah. I thank Charles for, everything, I guess.
I thank Jim for taking the step out in faith when I came out with that first system. He was one of the first customers that installed it and was able to really begin to start to see what I was seeing in my own backyard. And then, upgrading. He was one of the first guys to stick his hand up and say, "Oh yeah, I want to go nano."
Yeah.
And so now we have that installed, and the next time we check in, he'll be even more ecstatic because the benefits of nano oxygen are really mind-blowing.
Yeah. And the customer service that you provided me was amazing too. If I ever had any questions, you always picked up the phone.
Well, it's a hard thing in today's day and age to get anybody on the phone.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I can't stand is calling a company when you have an issue and there's no one to call.
Yeah.
They don't have a phone number on the website. Customer service says, fill out this contact form and someone will get back to you. And they don't mean by phone, they mean by email. And, we're an American company. I develop all my products here in America. If we can make the parts here in America, we do. And we build a bulletproof industrial grade system designed to last. And every single part is able to be serviced and replaced. Don't take our word for it. Invest in one for your home and your family today.